G'day everyone, today we're going to be going through the initial startup of Avid Media Composer, or otherwise known as the world's greatest editing program, far beyond things like Final Crash and Premiere Poo. So we're just going to wait for this to open up. I've just clicked the open tab there. So the program I'm working with is Media Composer Ultimate, but there's also just Avid Media Composer as well. Ultimate's a pretty good one because it's got a few extra little features that I can work with in Avid, but you can get away with pretty much doing exactly the same in Avid Media Composer, which is what I have been working on for since ever and have just started doing Ultimate now. While we're waiting for that to load up, let's just check out a couple of quick things. So I'm going to go down to my start menu and I'm going to click on Avid, and that's going to drop down, and there's a little tab here, Avid Link. I'm going to open that up. Okay, when I open that up, it's going to open up a little tab down here, and here we go. This is Avid Link. So this is how your software gets activated and how you do all your licensing and stuff like that. But it's also got other couple of really cool features in it as well. It's got a news feed where you can check out some stories that they've got. They've got stuff on Better Call Saul, Captain Marvel, The Invisible Man. So basically interviewing editors and sound recordists for those films. Anyway, let's skip past that and we'll look at products. So in products here, because I'm tight, I'm not going to get Avid Cloud. Just can't afford it. No reason for it. Includes apps and plugins. There's a few plugins there that I use. I do use Script Sync sometimes, but very rarely. It's a pretty powerful tool, but it's also super expensive if you're to buy it as a standalone. So yeah, don't really need to look at that. BCC Lite, that's a plugin that I use within the program, and we'll be looking at that in a later date. And then there's a couple of others sitting in there as well. I actually have to install these and redeem these new things. So every now and then it's good to check out this link page because it looks like they've added some new features there that I can redeem and install. So sound effects, cool. Sound ideas, some music tracks, and some audio compression there. Sweet, I'll have to have a play with that and check that out. Okay, messages. Nobody likes me, so I don't get any messages. Feel the sadness in my voice. Okay, find talent. So this is where you can find talent. Jeffro, that's not me, but he would have to be very talented with a name like that. A couple of interesting characters sitting in there. Every time you open that up, someone different will pop up, so you can see new, different, interesting people. And if there's people that you like or think that you might want to work with, then you can hit them up here. I've never really used it. I've just never had any reason to use it. Okay, down below we've got lounge. Now at the moment I'm in the film and video production lounge, but if I collapse that, there's quite a few lounges that are in here. And as you can see, when you open up a lounge, it's going to have people asking just pretty sort of basic sort of questions about things like, for example, someone stole this bloke's laptop and he's wondering how to install Avid on the new computer. Marketplace, this is where we can buy additional plugins for our program. So if I was to go into Media Composer, actually it'll open up the site to buy more Media Composer. I've clicked on the wrong tab. I should have clicked on plugins, but anyway, there we go. You can choose what plans and you can add extra things on. So there's Title of Pro bundles and heaps of bundles there that as you can see, I'm pretty tight. I'm not going to buy any of those. And down below we've got Pro Tools projects. We've got no Pro Tools projects in here. I do most of my audio posts just basically in Avid, and unless I was working on with a bigger production company where I might sort of feed that information through to another company, then I'd use Pro Tool projects. But that is Avid Link, so I'm just going to close that bad boy down. Okay, so here we go. Avid has been opened up and we get this Selector project coming up here. Now, the first one we're going to see up the top here is the user GED. Now that just depends on whose computer you're working on and stuff like that. User profile GED, but you could create a profile as well. To be honest, I never have, so I don't really know what that's going to do if I change that profile. Maybe the whole computer will blow up. Let's check out this bottom tab here, or this next tab down. We've got external, shared, and private. Pretty self-explanatory there. So external meaning we've got an external drive running through there, and the project that I've got working on here is an external drive here. If you were to go to shared, then you would be on the C drive, and that'd allow you to share your project amongst other people who log onto that computer. So it could be when you're working on a bigger production studio or something like that, where you're sharing your content across the board, or you might be doing some editing and then someone else will come in and do some editing after you. Believe it or not, it's true, especially when it comes to documentaries and you're going through mountains of data. Some places find it more efficient to have people going through mountains of data 24 hours a day. So you might log onto a computer, go through a heap of data, and then log off, and someone logs onto your computer the next minute, and then they access that stuff that you've been working on and keep working on it. Private is if you are once again in a post-production house where you might be sharing your computer and stuff like that. Private just means that it has to go into your logged on user, so no one else can access that stuff if they try to. Okay, let's go back to external, because that's the space that we'd work with, and we're going to click on this folder tab here, and that's going to allow us to navigate to where we want our project to be saved. Now, as you can see, I've got quite a few hard drives plugged into this computer here. The one that I'm using at the moment is the letters have been changed around. I'm going to have to fix that. As you can see, I've got F240220, meaning that the hard drive was formatted on that date there, and the letter that was assigned was F. Now, as you can see at the moment, it's handling as G. So what I was worried about there is, before I open up this project, I'm going to have to change that letter through disk management. But that's something I can show you guys at a later date as well, so we won't need to worry about that just yet. The reason why I want to make sure that that's F that's been assigned is because then when I'm handling all different types of data within a project, nothing goes offline because it's looking for the wrong sort of drive letter there. Was something that was quite common in the older versions of Avid. It seems to be not necessarily that important nowadays. Okay, moving forward. So yeah, let's look at a live project I'm working on. So I've got this folder here, Infinite Care, and I've got recruitment video. Now if I click the drop down on that, we've got a whole stack of folders sitting inside there. I've got Avid Workspace, I've got card data, I've got exports, I've got graphics, and I've got new project there. That's a project that I didn't end up sort of working on there. So let's look at Avid Workspace there, and that's that one there. I'm just going to click cancel because I don't want to go into the actual project yet. I want to take you through some more of the settings. Now, as it is, I've titled this project completely wrong. I should be naming that a different name, but anyway, we'll go into that now. Let's go over to new project. If you're wanting to start for the first time, you're going to create a new project, and here we go. Voila! Very nice. We are looking at a new project here. Geez, that's going to get dated, isn't it? I shouldn't have actually said that because, a couple of years' time, no one's going to know who Bruno is. So, God, I'm an idiot. Okay, so here we go, project name. Let's just go in there. And what I would normally do is I know that my client is Infinite. They're doing a recruitment video. I'll just put a RC. And I'll also put the 3/26/20. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm smack dab in the middle of coronavirus lockdown. So yeah, basically the date is what I've put in there. So I've named the project, but I've also provided the date. Now that's going to come really helpful if later on down the track I do some revisions for the client and I might want to start a new project with the revisions, so that way I don't get confused as to what project was done when, sort of thing. Okay, so that is project name over there. Now let's check out the nitty-gritty important stuff. Formats. Now the newer version of Avid has gone crazy with information here, so let's open up formats. What I mean by that is we've got Ultra HD, which is sort of like a 1080p, but it's a little bit higher. It's closer to 2K sort of thing, but 2K is pretty much as close to 1080 as you can get. And then we've got our 4K resolutions, we've got our 8K resolutions, and we've got a 16K resolution. Jeez, if they build computers that can handle that stuff, holy guacamoles. Anyway, HD 1080 is the project setting that I'm going to use, and 1080p 25. Okay, P being progressive. This is standard high definition here. If you are working on this project in another country, you might be using 29.97 or 23.97 as your video frame rates. We're going to go 25 because that's Australian broadcast, the only way to go. Okay, our raster dimensions. Now they're locked, they won't change. I can do, in some of these other custom settings, I can change the raster dimensions there. And that's really helpful because, like, of course, this is your standard sort of 16:9 sort of HD cinema frame. But you might be sort of exporting to, say, a advertisement billboard that's a completely different raster dimension, or like when you walk through the cinemas and you get those annoying new posters there where they're like, well, I don't know whether cinemas are going to exist in the future because, we're in very strange times indeed. Okay, the next thing down here is color spacing. Now at the moment it's set to YCBCR 709. Now there were only really two options in the last incarnation of Avid, but check this out now. Holy guacamoles, there's a lot of them in there, okay? So previously it was RGB 709 or YCBCR 709. Okay, now to be honest, this is very confusing and I don't want to confuse you too much with it. This was brought out when you started getting sort of higher end cameras like RED cameras and stuff like that that gave you the ability to work with your color spacing a bit more. But more often than not, you basically set default to that. Now, having said that, they've brought in all these new color spacings and they're kind of like almost geared to nearly every different type of camera's sort of file recording sort of color spacing thing. Jeez, and I'm a teacher. Look, to be honest, I've always stuck with YCBCR 709. I've had great results from it. I need to test out and explore this a bit more because this is only brand new, and I'll probably get back to you on how that works at a later date. Okay, stereoscopic. If you were shooting in 3D, because let's be honest, 3D is the next new wave of cinema. If you watch the Titanic, or not Titanic, was it? Avatar. Anyway, I don't think it's going to take off 3D. I just don't like the stops of light. So that is if you are working in 3D, you could turn it into stereoscopic. Over here we've got film. Now that allows you to adjust your film gauge for your project. And over here we've got other search data folder. Now this is another new addition to Avid, or not necessarily as new as some of the others, but it's still pretty new. Most of the time it's when you first open it up, it will probably be set to default. Now what you want to do is set it to other, and you want to navigate to your parent folder for your project. Okay, and the reason being is searching data folder will mean that whenever it searches for content, it's going to go straight to this folder here. Okay, which is going to be really helpful because like you can easily sort of archive your projects, you can easily pull up content up, and it's not going to be too much of a hassle there. Manage presets. This is really new. This is new and I don't understand it, so we're going to close it right up. Okay, manage presets. What the hell? What is this world coming to? They're just changing things all the time. I need to look into that and work out what manage presets is. Once you've got your project ready, you just simply click OK, and voila, it is now in the Selector project panel. Now, this is helpful because if you have a documentary or something like that, a long form project, you can break your project up into sequences or scenes, and then that way you can select, in a Selector project, you can select a specific scene instead of opening up an entire like hour-long feature film or something like that. So it's helpful for that because you can sort of work specifically in an area of a film and not have to open up an entire project. Okay, so that is that. We've gone through the Selector project panel and we've gone through the Avid Link folder there. Last little thing is down here, Media Central login, and guess what? That is brand spanking new and I have no idea what it does. Actually, I do have a vague idea. As I said before, I'm quite a cheapskate, so I don't have Avid Cloud Storage. Now if I did, I'm guessing that it would sort of link up to this area here. For starters, our internet's just not capable of doing that with video files, and just not really my sort of thing, I guess. I need to look into that more, and I'm sure there's some awesome features that would work with that. Sorry, I just yawned at the end of my presentation. I hope I haven't put you all to sleep with it. The last thing to do is click OK, but I'm not going to, because I'm a rule breaker and I'm a risk taker. Make sure you check out some of the other tutorials that we've got coming your way. There's heaps to come. See you soon.